Hi. So it's the 1st of June and lockdown restrictions are being eased some more. Some of our children are back in school for the first time. People who've been shielding are allowed out. We're allowed to have small numbers of visitors in our gardens. It's got to be good news, but I confess I feel slightly unsettled by it. I'd kind of got used to things the way they were. And it reminds me of some of the Bible passages we went to when the lockdown started, and particularly that image of God being our shepherd in Psalm 23 and in John chapter 10. And perhaps I find myself today listening to it again in a different context. What did it say? It said, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." And I think then it was particularly to do with knowing that God was with us, guiding us, providing for us, protecting us, when there was quite a lot of fear about what would happen for us personally and how this whole thing would unroll. And it was Kirsten, I think, who highlighted the significance of the shepherd's voice in gathering that flock of anxious sheep. Just the sound of it brings them peace. And when Jesus described himself as the good shepherd, he said, "The sheep listen to his voice. He calls his sheep by name and leads them out. When he's brought them all out, he goes on ahead of them, and his sheep follow him because they know his voice." As I say, some of my unsettledness is simply because life's become a bit more complicated. When it was a case of you just can't go out unless you're going shopping or to get medicine or for a daily dose of exercise, it's kind of simple and clear. I'm not saying it didn't have its difficulties, but you kind of know where you are with rules. Now we're in a place where we've got some rules, but there's a lot more space for making decisions about how we implement them, which means we have to think. And we have to consider what the rules might mean now. How many people can I have in the garden? How often can I have them there? How many different sets of people can I have? Do they all have to bring their own mug? Or if I'm allowed to go out, well, how far? And why only once? And what does taking sensible precautions actually mean? I find myself thinking there's some parallels here with living by faith in Jesus. In some ways, it'd be so much easier if all we had was a clear set of rules deciding everything we do. But instead, he calls us to a friendship. And like in any friendship, there are what we might call obvious rules to make it work. Listen more than you talk, and turn up when you say you're going to, and don't poke each other in the eye. You have to work out how this friendship works as you go along. I hope you might have taken part in the week of prayer for Thy Kingdom Come last week, or even if not, that actually your regular patterns of prayer are sustaining you now as they would always do. We can be confident that our prayers have had an effect. The Bible tells us that. The prayer of a righteous person, that's someone who's a friend of God, is powerful and effective. It's James chapter 5. But the side effect of spending more time with God, engaging with him through the scriptures and giving time to draw close to him, is, I hope, about developing just a bit more ability to hear the voice of the shepherd. Truthfully, we're always moving from situation in life to situation in life, and we need to hear what he says. This is about developing an attentiveness to the living God. I've come back to the same piece of scriptures again. And should I be worried about that? Well, no, because actually that's the way it works. It's the same word of God, but we need to hear his voice to us anew wherever we find ourselves. So I think today what I'm telling myself and perhaps encouraging you to do is to stay listening, keep being attentive, and however life unfolds for you at the moment, let him lead you. Listen to where he is taking you. Bless you. Thanks. Bye.